Behind every remarkable front stage performance is a team of ordinary people combining their talents to create extraordinary results. Join us as we go behind the curtain of selling homes and helping agents build better businesses to discuss the ideas, the principles, and the strategies that empower our Century 21 support team to maximize their potential and thrive in their unique abilities. Welcome to the Backstage. Welcome to the Backstage, ladies.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I didn't have my voice today. I just got off a 90-minute Zoom and I was yelling the whole time.
Apparently.
Do you yell when you're on
Yes,
Zoom?
100%.
Also, when I'm on the phone in the car,
Oh,
Yes.
no. Yeah.
and I always hang up afterwards. And
I'm like, that was too loud.
I'm
Why was I
embarrassed.
screaming
Yeah.
at him? Yeah. Yep. Guilty.
Yeah, that's
So-
why my office moved.
You guys may have to carry the weight today. So, hi, welcome back. We just got out of our quarterly staff meeting
Last week.
A week ago. Yep.
Anna, you got to take the stage,
I did.
and Vic was supposed to teach a bunch, but she's like, "No, Dylan, you handle this."
You're so good at it.
Well, thank you.
It
so
was
much.
great.
Yeah, whatever.
And I lost sleep for several days.
I do.
beforehand.
That's what I do.
For any of our agents that weren't there, we talked money again with our staff. Slightly different team meeting, quarterly meeting. We didn't really dig into our rocks as much and all the things we're working on. We've just jumped back into finances. Vic, why?
It was time. So 4 years ago, right, we talked about this a lot, and it has just been coming up a lot in conversations with staff. So we did goal setting for our first quarterly this year. And a lot of what our people want to accomplish has money attached to it.
Yeah.
So it was time. It's also something that a lot of our staff or just people in general, I feel like, don't talk about and don't know a lot about. And we like to pick topics like that to help them grow.
Sex, politics,
Religion.
and money.
We're,
Religion.
doing the rest of those next, right?
There's one of those that we don't talk
Probably
about.
should.
At least not on the record.
Nope.
No.
Okay, so it's time. It's been
time.
I was actually shocked when you said it's been 4 years
Yeah.
Anna,
Yep.
since we've done the Ramsey stuff. We saw a lot of good fruit out of that conversation. And so, I think it was just, let's bring this back up.
Well, and I think that's why the conversation has never gone away, is that we've got people that were here on the journey 4 years ago, and they're hearing, and then the new people that have come on have heard us talk very openly at other staff meetings, shouting out wins, financial wins. And they're like, why are you shouting out my coworkers paying off their car? So it's just really kind of cool to connect the dots again and kind of hit reset and bring everybody back up to speed.
But even if you were here, I was here for it 4 years ago, and I was like, oh, yeah, that, or, oh, man, I need to get back into, like, it just is a good
refresher.
Yes.
4 years ago, you were just an embryo.
And now
look at
I
you.
use my little budgeting app every day. Or now I'm going to go back to doing that because I was really good about it, and then I fell off. Yeah.
It's motivating, though, when you hear other people talk about it. I think that's the other thing.
Yes.
One of my underlying goals from this staff meeting was to get people excited to hear, hey, nobody is better than the other. We all have our own challenges. We're in this together. Sometimes misery loves company, and that's what we did. It doesn't have to be miserable.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it does sound bad.
Also, celebrating together is better.
That's fun.
Yeah.
There you go. There's the positive spin.
Thank you, Anna.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to actually spend most of our time talking about the I don't know, philosophical idea that we put on the board, the 3-step formula for success, because I think there's so much packed into there, and I really want to document that somewhere and turn that into a nugget and talk with our agents about it, because I think it's so powerful.
Yeah.
But I put that on the board really as a tee up to the financial conversation we were going to have. So let's get to the 3-step formula for success. But let me start with just the financial meeting that we did, and I guess just gather our thoughts maybe.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you guys specifically, because I did 2 things in this meeting. The 2 central questions I had for everyone was, are you clear on what your financial end game looks like? And I already knew the answer, because the answer is that most of us aren't. We don't have tension through vision.
Yeah. Yes.
Creative tension through vision. And so the rubber band came out, and the idea was, do we have a financial vision? And the word I use is retirement, because it tends to be a W-2 word.
Yep.
We're not all rugged individuals. we want to have our job for however many years, and we want to picture. Anna, you're kind of like this. I want to picture my retirement.
Yes.
Okay. So the first game we played was about what does it look like, and do you have a clear picture of your financial end game? Meaning, what are you even trying to accomplish? So my first question for you guys was, how clear is or was your picture? What were your takeaways from even doing that exercise? Because none of you knew we were going there.
Right.
Other than you, Abbie, you helped me put the worksheet together.
Yeah.
So what was your thoughts on that, either for yourself or for the team as a collective? Financial end game.
Well, for me, I had to start very practical. I had to think about the age. And then I had to say, okay, well, I know my kids' ages at that point.
That
and
helps a lot doing that.
Yes, if I frame it that way, then I'm like, well, okay, that probably means we got some grandkids. And then I was thinking about, just thinking about what currently exists in my life. And is that going to exist then? So am I going to have my dog and my cat? I mean, like silly little things.
No, you will not.
Yeah.
You will have different ones.
But like that helped me think about, okay, what would I want to do if I didn't, if I could frame some black and white things around it. And so that part is where I started, because that's the way my brain thinks. And then it was from there, it was easier for me to it wasn't easy, but easier for me to backtrack into some of the, well, what if I wanted to travel? Okay. And then who's going to be traveling with me? Like, I just really had to start very concrete though, because it's just so hard to dream.
Well, that's why we had the exercise we did.
Yep.
What were the categories that I had you do?
Living situation, use of time, hobbies, travel, and impact.
Yep.
Yeah, where am I going to be? Who am I going to be with? What am I going to be doing? What passions or interests do I have that I want to explore? And what difference do I want to make in the world? And when you say that, like what I'm imagining is that you didn't have that clear, even coming into that meeting.
No.
People don't tend to
No,
have that
you don't
clear.
stop and think about that stuff. You're thinking about what's next in your life tomorrow.
Yep.
I actually, I agree, but also disagree. I thought it was easier because of what we did for staff day. So we had a little bit of a head start,
We
right?
drew pictures.
We drew pictures.
Your
so
lifetime vision,
I had
yeah.
a clear picture of what I wanted, but I hadn't thought about the financial side of that. So that was the next step. But the picture itself stays, I think.
Hey, you two, give yourself another couple of inches on the mics so that you don't.
Okay. Yeah.
This is backstage. This is
Can edit
administrative
anything out.
discussion on the backstage.
I agree.
that.
Some of this was quote unquote easier because we had thought about it. So I was like, okay, I did think about hobbies and I did think about family and stuff. I struggled with impact because I'm just not at a point in life where I'm thinking about that yet.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I don't know. I don't want to just make something up and say, yeah, I'll do a nonprofit. I'll do it if that's not true or passionate. Yeah. That was where I was
think
like,
about
question mark.
is you guys, we all as staff members are on it's a different journey, but it's still survival, stability, success, significance.
Yes.
And when you're in survival and you're trying to figure out a few things, you're maybe making a human being.
Yeah.
You're trying to pay off debt. You're
Yeah.
trying to get
That
to
takes
stability.
all of your energy. Yeah. Focus.
So it's hard to imagine significance when you're in that space.
Yep.
And it's the same game as well. It's not lead systems team money, but in the same way we're discussing money with our agents because they're afraid to talk about that. And that's the thing that's easy to just left undiscussed or unobserved. It's the same for us.
Yeah.
I think it's great for our agents to hear and understand that we're taking our team on a journey as well
similar.
towards impact and significance. And
So ever since the staff day when we drew pictures, and then when we did this again last week where we had to kind of picture a future us, it's actually helped me think about my everyday right now. As I'm going throughout my day, I'm trying to pay attention to what I get energized by and what I don't, so that I can start to think more about where I want to land in 20 and 30 years in that impact area of my world. Because I'm trying to think of what is the book, Dylan, where every human has
6 human needs.
Yes. The purpose.
You already had it.
The purpose.
It's not a book. That's Tony Robbins 101.
Yep.
We can't cover that today.
No,
Yeah.
but that's what keeps coming to my mind because I think for me, that's what I'm thinking about now. It's like,
you're
okay,
moving up the pyramid. All the other things are satisfied, right?
yes,
And,
yes. I'm starting to get pretty clear, and I know where I'm going to land on some of these other ones. But my purpose,
You remember the 6 human needs, Anna?
Just purpose.
just really the purpose. You need to have something. Yeah, I don't know. You're gonna put me on the spot. This is gonna be embarrassing.
All you needed was purpose.
Yeah, that's all I care about.
But I will say, I think we've spent time stretching everybody's imagination a little bit. So that's what's making it easier. So for you and I, Anna, we're very, admin, day-to-day. And over the past year, we've really spent time trying to just stretch thinking and what if and dream. And so, widget, we're ETs.
It gives your day-to-day a little more weight because now you know what you're working toward.
Yeah, exactly.
So what about the second little topic? What I did, I guess, was...
what would it take?
Yeah, what would it take? And what I did there was run through something we actually shared with our Golden Circle team a few weeks ago. I talked through the 4% rule. The 4% rule being just a financial advisor, really rule of thumb, right? That whatever you need to have saved, basically you can pull 4% on your nest egg. And if you pull 4% of your nest egg, that will keep your nest egg intact over time.
Yes.
So that's just a rule of thumb.
Yep.
But what I did is invert the 4% rule to the 25 times multiplier, which is the inverse of that mathematically, and just taught the idea that the way you can figure out what that lump sum needs to be is you figure out what you would need to live on in this new world where you don't have a dog or a cat. You have grandkids who want to travel. Your house may or may not be paid off. Figure out that number, reduce it by your Social Security income, and then take what you need, multiply it by 25 to get what the nest egg needs to be, against which you can pull the 4%. So if you weren't there, I guess you can catch up with the worksheet.
Yep.
My question there was that exercise was about some basic financial math that I think allows us to start to create tangible understanding of how much money you would need in order to live out the picture that you just drew.
Yes.
So one, we're lacking a clear picture of what our financial end game is. And two, no one's taught us what sort of financial math would need to apply to finance that dream.
Yeah. Well, and they've complicated it, actually. I feel like if you go listen to the financial people out there, they're like, well, this year was a really good year for stocks, but bonds did not, and the market didn't. And you can get really confused because you're like, well, wait a second. If we had a couple bad years, does that mean I have to fund more? You can get really confused by the noise. And to just strip it back to just some straight math, rough thinking, but it at least lets you backtrack into what does that mean for today? Taking out all the different confusing things that if you listen to these people, you can get completely thrown off track and led astray.
These people.
What you do, you usually get overwhelmed and then you go, never mind.
Never
I'm
mind.
just not
I'm
going to
out.
worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and you helped me build it, right, Abbie?
Yeah.
And so I sat with you with a whiteboard and ran through this math. And so what I'm interested in is what the exercise did for you, how you understand it, why you think it matters. Anna, you've touched on it. Abbie, what was your experience?
That the process of thinking about it was not as scary as I thought it was going to be because it was broken down so simply with this worksheet. Totally have never even thought about Social Security income. Duh,
Yes.
If it exists, we don't have to touch that. But like if it exists when we retire. And then the 4% 25X, I had never heard that before the Golden Circle Lab in April. Not once ever. And was like, oh, well that 100%, like it just.
Not 100, 25.
Well, it just made it all a lot more clear in my head and like, okay, there is a way to figure this out without scaring yourself into doing nothing.
Yes, exactly.
And just figuring out a path forward. And actually it was a little scary, but then we did a little, like I was your guinea pig, right? We did an example and I went, oh, I might not actually need as much as I think unless I'm planning to be in Europe every other week. Like,
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then looking at the savings amount monthly, because that's what we broke it down to, I was like, this is so doable.
Yeah.
That was your reaction?
Yes. And I when we did the exercise in the staff day last week, I did two numbers. I did like a stretch big savings goal and then a more probably realistic one. I was like, oh, we're already hitting the more realistic one between our 401ks, between me and Jake.
Yep.
I think we're already there.
Yeah.
More on track than you thought you were?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm also, if we had done this 4 or 5 years ago, I would have been like, oh, bleep. Like, no, not
Can't
like,
do it.
like some of that is just over time too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to make a capitalist out of you,
I think too, it's just, for me, it was more, the lies you've been told. So for some reason, I don't know who told me where I found it. I just had this like dollar amount in my head I had to have $2 million in a savings account when I retired. I can't tell you how I got there. And so this was
So
just
how
made
close
it
were
really
you on your
practical.
projections?
I don't think I need $2 million, but I'm kind of where Abbie is. Like, past Vic was a lot smarter accidentally than I thought she was, and took advantage of a 401k.
I say, if nothing else, the 401k for at
Yes.
least a decade.
Yes.
It's maybe not enough, but
Yes.
it's something. And I was like, okay,
Yeah,
didn't completely ignore this.
exactly. And like, we did set some goals, like to have the house paid off by the time the kids go to college, if that's what they decide to do, and we're on track for that. So we actually have made a lot smarter decisions than maybe I thought. So for me, I think it's going to take less than I thought.
Well, if your house is paid off and you
Yeah.
don't have dependents,
Yes.
then it really just depends on, like you said, how much
Your
are you going to
lifestyle,
Tahiti?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I think,
Yep.
how fun to be able to do that and bring the grandkids with. Or,
Right.
I mean, it doesn't mean you need to set low goals.
No,
Yep.
you just got to plan for it,
But you
whatever
gotta-
the goal is.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
It brings me back to you and me. We talk about this all the time because, you're a socialist. And,
With a 401k.
well, just
As all good socialists.
just agency. I mean, step
Yes.
one is you got to pull the monster out from under the bed. You got to pull it out, observe it, and ask, okay, what do I want out of life? Because that's problem number one. Most of us don't have a vision. Step number two, you got to be willing to ask, what the heck's it going to take? And which is going to lead us to our 3 rules for success.
Yeah.
But you got to look at it. You can't be afraid. You got to do the math, and then you got to decide if you want to do the work that needs to be done to get you there. It's more attainable than everybody thinks, but we live in a society where I'm going to blame parents, but when I say parents, I mean parents government, I mean parents school, I mean parents teachers, I mean
Yeah.
parents
Authority.
mentors, I mean parents employers.
Yeah.
I think there's just a fundamental lack of this sort of discussion, and I think it's a travesty. And so I'm proud of the fact that we're having these
Yeah.
conversations with our staff, however awkward some of that, it's not even awkward.
I don't think it is. We have enough trust, and I
Well,
think it's good. It gets you thinking.
I agree. I was going to say, I even wondered generationally, you'd said parents, and I'm thinking, there was a generation where pensions existed and everybody stayed with their employers for longevity and they got these amazing pensions, and that between Social Security.
They didn't know how to plan because they didn't have to plan
They
either.
didn't have
you just
to
stayed at your
plan.
job for 40 years. And
I feel like this is a newer
Sure.
not problem, but newer thing. And so the people that are older than us and have gone through it actually can't relate to what we're going to need be prepared for in a few years or several.
I think
couple
that's
decades.
true for our grandparents.
Yes.
It's probably less true for
For our parents. Yes. Because actually I'm watching my parents. I mean, where I don't know if they're going to fully retire.
well, now they're realizing that they didn't.
Yes. And so I think, they're tapping into some and they've done a little bit that they can, but I do believe there's going to be a part-time job for both of them at some throughout as they continue on in this retirement era.
Yeah. It's,
Well, we want our staff and our agents to win, and so I think this was a fun exercise. I'm excited to see ongoing conversations.
there
Vic,
has already
'cause
been ongoing conversations,
bet.
and again a lightness of thank you. Like, I've been thinking about this. I didn't know where to start. I this is what I needed.
Yep.
And then Anna, real quick, you brushed off some of the old Ramsey stuff. We ran through the
Yeah, all
baby
of the things.
steps.
Yes.
and some of the tools. Real quick, before I move on to these 3 steps, because I think that's really what I want to cover today. For you two,
Yeah.
given Vic the 401 discussion we had
Yeah.
and all that, any guidance, advice to our staff on next steps or just any suggestions given where we've been and what we covered and what you think needs to be next?
I mean, we're here to help is my best advice. I will say we have already had so many people raise their hands that I think they know. And so, again, Anna and I are not the experts in any of these areas, but we do have some good information and we have good resources and we have personal experience that we're just here to help. And it makes us excited. So we know it's a hard topic to bring up, right? Sometimes it's even hard to talk to your spouse about or parents. But I think we just want to help. And so
Judgment free.
Yes.
And I think that was what made it fun for me. I hate standing at the front of the room. Everybody knows this. But on Thursday last week, what I was trying to iterate was that I don't have it figured out. I want to be vulnerable, but I want you to know that if you have a question that I am in no way have any room to be judging of you. If anything, I more than anything want you to be making progress. And if I can be part of that for you, please come reach out to me. We've got this tool through Dave Ramsey's system called Smart Dollar. Gives us access to a ton of other little resources that can come into whatever stage you're in your financial journey. But particular to the retirement conversation, you can do a little bit of planning, and it will do some rough math as well, kind of what we did on the spreadsheet. But then we spent a little more time talking about just how do you even dig up. Dave recommends 15% of your gross income being set aside every month into retirement. And so there's some tools in here that help you figure out how to find that 15%. And for some people, it might mean you need to first start by cutting back on some spending in some areas, or just being vigilant about allocating your savings elsewhere. So there's tools in this program to help our staff. And if anybody is not on it, wants to get
I
on
would
it,
plug the principal calculator too. I don't know if you guys have been in there lately.
Yep.
I've used it a couple times. You can plug in, like obviously it already has your 401k info, but you can plug in your partner's information as well, and any other assets you have, and you can toggle it by age, by income, by savings, and it will tell you, okay, you need to start doing this, and it'll tell you how much a month that would change your paycheck. Like it's really helpful for like, okay, this is what it means monthly to come out of my paycheck. Like just also a good one.
Yeah. Now, it can also get a little bit tricky, right? Because it will let you pick your funds or bonds or whatever you want to do. So that is just where, financial advisors are smarter. But there are a lot of tools available, and we're here to help.
Okay, what I heard there was go talk to you too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I also heard, Anna, you didn't mean to say it, but you suggested. Part of the problem is the kids have bad parents. But part of the problem is parents are insecure because we feel like it's imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Like, who am I?
Who am I to be telling you about
There's
this?
got to be someone smarter. And then, like someone said earlier, those guys, the guys that do know, half of them are just selling things or get at a technical level that they're not actually good parents.
Yes.
You could be a doctor of physics, but it doesn't make you a good mom or a dad.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just there's no bad guys here.
Nope.
There's just a sad situation where most of us are undereducated on the things that matter the most. What were they? Religion, sex,
politics,
money, and politics. But we know a lot about football teams.
We sure do.
And I'm going to swim against that current. Okay, so let's just pretend this is the end of this podcast.
Okay.
Because, hold on. How does this work? Can I just do this?
A little music.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
So that was good. Should we move on to the next topipic now?
Yes.
Let's do
Okay,
it.
welcome back to the Backstage.
We're back.
Okay.
That was fun. 2 in 1.
I have control of the machine. So what I want to talk about is what I wrote on the board at the very, very beginning.
Yeah.
Because I actually think this is one of the coolest little concepts. It's a nugget. It's not hard. It's the 3-step formula for success. And as I run through this, it's very, very easy for anyone listening to see how this connects to the financial conversation we were having. But it's not just about finances. No. I think it's about everything. And so I just wanted to take the time to put this somewhere so it's accessible in the future. So whether financial or general, I'm going to share the 3-step formula for success. And what I want to do is just spend 2 or 3 minutes on each of the rules and get your thoughts and feedback on them. Good?
Okay. Yep.
So the 3-step formula for success that I wrote on the board, as it relates to finances or anything else, is step number 1. You must realize that no one is coming to save you. And what I wrote as subtext there is there's no cavalry coming.
Yep.
And I think this is about self-reliance. So step 1, if you want to get anywhere, is you got to realize no one's coming to save you, meaning this is your problem. Finance is easy to see that. No one's coming to save you. Step number 2, 3-step formula, is to take full responsibility for your current position. And my subtext there was, and I think someone yelled it out, was, it might not be your fault, but it's still your responsibility.
Yes.
Yep.
So this is, are you blaming? And the first one is about, are you waiting for somebody else to solve the problem?
Yeah.
The second one is about, are you in a state of denial or blame, where it's like, well, but it's I didn't put
Out
me
of my
here,
control.
or it doesn't matter how you got here. The question is, well, first of all, is anyone coming to save you? Probably not. Number 2, you can blame all you want, but until you recognize that E plus R equals O, the event plus the response is the outcome. Where you are is where you are, and whether it's all your fault or not, it's your responsibility to decide what to do with this. Now, that's step number 2. And step number 3 is you must be willing to sacrifice who you are today for who you want to be. And this is all about trade-offs for me. I love my little quote. I don't even know where I got this one, but this is Caden's clothing brand. It's called Anything, E for anything.
Yeah.
And it comes from this. You can be anything you want to be. You just can't be everything you want to be. And you can have anything you want. You just can't have everything you want. Everything comes down to trade-offs. And this is true for fitness. This is true for, you can have your coffee or you can have your savings. It's true for everything in life. Any position you want in life, you can go find a way to work towards that, but it's almost certainly going to be at the expense of, well, you can have a great marriage, but it's going to be at the expense of hard work.
Yeah.
Okay, so pick your topic. But it's all about trade-offs and, for me, delayed gratification. So 3-step formula. 1, realize no one's coming to save you. Step 2, you've got to take responsibility for your current position. And step 3, you have to be willing to sacrifice who you are today for who you want to be. So ladies, I'm curious about number 1 first. Or you can cover this however you want. What was your takeaway from these 3 rules? First of all, just as it relates to the financial conversation. It's a big question.
Yeah, I mean, I just wrote a note saying empowerment. There is something empowering for me, at least when I hear that, okay, there's no one coming, it's me. Let's go. Like,
What's underneath? Why is it important to realize that no one's coming to save you? What's going on that's the antithesis of that?
So you stop waiting and stop delaying action.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, and I think sometimes we're scared of failing, right? So it's like a way to have an excuse, like somebody else got it. It'll be okay.
Someone's
like,
the adult.
Yeah.
Someone's the financial
Somebody
advisor.
knows more. Somebody's better at this.
Surely the government's going to take care of this.
Yes.
Yes.
I remember early on when I was in college, probably hired by you, probably around that stage, at that stage of life when I started to realize this became real to me. No one's going to come and fix the state that I'm in. And I wasn't in a bad state. I was 18 years old, but I had a ton of student debt that I knew I was going to be continued to accrue. And it was a realization, but at that point it was just a realization. But I do remember it being pivotal. I actually remember Dylan saying, you said this a lot early on, you are the master of your own domain. You don't say it as much now, but you said it 20 years ago a lot, and it hit. And I remember always...
Now I just say, suck it up. Suck it up, cowboy.
But it is something, I remember it just being more of a mental realization. I feel like when we get to step 2 is more where in an action. But step 1 is really just realizing, okay, I'm not going to have some silver spoon that's going to fund my life. I'm 18. I get to decide now. I'm out from underneath my parents.
I think the parents thing is big because I know a little bit about your story, right? And we've all got different versions of it. But there's a point in life where you start to realize, wait, my parents really weren't actually that smart. Because when you're 3, you
think they're the best.
Dad can conquer the world. Dad can lift up trucks and throw them over his head. And then you go, wait, Dad can't do that. And then you realize, maybe Mom and Dad actually don't have their finances together or their life together. And so then there's this naked, scared feeling of, wait, how am I supposed to cross the road if I've got no one's hand to hold?
Yes.
And so that's kind of what I imagine you were going through, of this moment of, oh my gosh.
It's terrifying.
I don't have anyone to go to. Yeah. And so if it is to be, it's up to me.
Up to me. Exactly. That's exactly how it was.
It's funny because for me, I've always had such a safety net that if I failed, I would get caught.
Freaking Europeans. Yeah.
Well, my childhood and just society, it's going to be okay. Someone's got me.
Was that
Parents will come
a societal thing
I think it's a societal mentality, but also I just grew up very safe, protected, both, in my childhood, but that is also just how the country works.
Europeans and only children.
Yeah. Not completely. But, so for me, it's like, that's why I think the word empowerment is like, okay, like this, no one is going to save me. I'm going to put a little bit of a different effort in now. That if I fail, I fail. Like this is different.
Well, it's the same thing we start with our agents. Step 1 here is coaching agents to understand that we're not going to generate your leads for you. Step 1 is take control of your own lead generation.
Yep.
And it's a similar thing whether you're waiting for your broker or waiting for your employer or waiting for your parents or the government. That is the number 1 most disenabling
yes.
force, because if somebody else is maybe going to solve it, it eliminates my need for what? Action.
Yeah.
Action. When I recognize no one else is going to do it, it's either lie down and die or start the work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
So what were you going to say?
Well, I wish this had been, I don't know that I would have listened, but I wish this had been repeatedly told to me in my 20s as an antidote.
You should have
for
started working
shame.
here sooner. For shame.
Well,
She did work
yeah.
here in her 20s.
I did start here. we didn't do this till 4 years ago. So, no, I didn't get a ton of financial, like the best my parents, and they're great people and they're figuring it out too and whatever. But the best that they said was, well, live within your means. Like, okay, what?
What does that mean?
What does
And I
that
suppose,
even
I
mean?
could have
Yeah.
figured it out. But once I got a credit card in my hands, it was game over. And in my 20s, before I got here, I worked at a place that I couldn't afford to live on the salary. So I worked multiple jobs, but I still didn't want to give up living life either. So I have, very candidly, I have credit card debt that I'm still paying off because I made bad decisions in my 20s. And now I'm in my 30s and I'm paying for it.
But it's more common than anyone believes.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
so, but you don't think that or know that, and you feel so much shame, so you hide it. You don't tell people about it. You don't ask for help. You don't raise the flag to your parents or whoever and say, I'm drowning.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think this is bad, and I have a pit in my stomach all the time, but I don't really know what to do. And and there's obviously there's like common sense stuff, but like you're stuck in a cycle, right? You're stuck in a mental space that's just not helpful. So you're not taking the right action. You're starting to drown, right?
Yep.
Like we know debt makes you start to. Anyway, there's just. This is like the antidote to the shameful. I'm going to hide it and I'm going to pretend it's not happening and I'm not going to do anything about it because I don't know what to do, but I don't want to ask for help because then I have to tell somebody I made some bad choices.
You can feel the weight of that because you've got this thing, and I think we've all been there in different ways in our life where there's this massive monster you've hidden under your bed and you know it's going to come and get you eventually, but you just keep just
pushing
hiding.
it further back. Yeah.
Don't look.
Yep. But we know debt continues to grow, right? And
The monster
and
gets bigger.
Yes.
Yeah.
And until we did our financial training 4 years ago, I had never sought out part of that, never sought out a practical, what do I do with this other than make minimum payments and die with it, I guess, and be afraid of it for 40 years. At some point, are they going to throw me in jail for not getting this done? But yeah, this would have been great to hear then, but it's great to hear now because now I know what to do and now I'm tackling it and now I'm moving forward. But just I think about that lost time, right? Like what could I have done for all of those years?
Well, I think it's just as you're talking, I'm realizing you can hear this first principle that there's no one coming, and you can either get spurred on or you can freeze and tuck everything into a dark corner and ignore it. So it really does take the next step. I know we're getting to it, but the next step was just the part where you got to take responsibility for the current position. And I feel like that's a little more proactive. You have to lean into it at that point. And you either take responsibility by taking actions to correct it, or you don't take responsibility and you freeze up and you're like, okay, I guess I'm just going to die with this. But that first one, I just think it's important. It was an interesting realization just now for me to be like, you can realize it. There's people that are like, yeah, I know I have, this much credit card. Like sometimes I'll follow Dave Ramsey and they're out on the street interviewing people and he's like, how much is your car payment? And they're like, whatever. And he's like, what's your balance? And they're just like, I don't know. And so
it's almost like a fatalism.
Yes.
So step one is no one's going to fix this problem for you. And then some people can go to, fine.
It is
Life
what it
sucks.
is. Yep.
I'm taking advantage of.
This is the prison I live in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a victim mentality, which is
Yes.
a lot of where our country's gone. We're waiting for somebody else to save us.
Yeah.
Financially or otherwise.
Yep.
And
they're okay with being in that mindset.
And the mindset is, well, number one, it's not my fault. Look what they did to me. They
Yes.
made me take the debt. They made
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can empathize, I guess, but that's why step two is like, okay.
Very important.
So it wasn't all my fault, but
Yeah.
here I am, and I'm either going to be a perpetual victim of the situation, or I'm going to go, no, I am here, but I don't want to be here. Which is why also creating that picture of where you want to be, I think that's such a intrinsic, necessary component of sort of the human spirit, where if you can't see somewhere better to be, then you just lie down and die.
Yes.
Which is not to bring up Brene Brown, but this is very similar to her, again, process of hope. Step one is you have to you have to see what the outcome is. Then you have to see a road forward and a plan B and a plan C. And then you have to feel a sense of agency.
Yeah.
But hope starts with there's something at the end of the tunnel.
Which a lot of times looks like people that are just like you, that have been where you are and now are somewhere better. So that's part of why, Anna, despite your humility or whatever, it's great for you to share the Ramsey stuff, because I know how humbly you lived before you went on vacations all the time now.
Yes.
And I know how hard you worked to get there. So it's that to me is a picture of I can see light at the end of the tunnel.
Yep.
And we need vulnerable human beings to be willing to share that. Otherwise, we don't believe it because it's just some crap in a textbook or some weird bald dude on a podcast.
Yeah.
That's
so
sort
you
of.
don't trust or believe.
I don't know
Right.
him. I don't know him.
Yep.
Not real.
Yep.
So keep going. So no one's coming to save you. Take responsibility for your current position. You can jump to 3 if you want. Be willing to sacrifice who you are today.
That's what got me where I am now, because I wasn't shopping and I wasn't buying fancy things and I didn't have a car payment, but I wasn't willing to not go out with friends or like spend time doing fun things. And then like the usual happens, right? Your car breaks down or your pet goes to the vet or something happens, and then that just adds on to it. But like fundamentally, I was stuck in that like, well, everything sucks and it's not my fault that I don't get paid a living wage, and it's not my fault that I work 80 hours a week. I deserve to go out with friends, even though I'm putting this dinner on my credit card.
And if these capitalist a-holes are going to take advantage of us and screw us over, we might as well at least eat a steak along the way.
Yeah.
Well, steak, it was not that fancy. It was the bar. But it was more numbing behavior, actually. It was more like, I don't want to think about
escapism.
That I have to work 12 hours tomorrow. I don't want to think about how hard things are right now. I just want to go out with my friends. And then several years of that adds up real quick. So I know that is where I take ownership of like, I wasn't willing to sacrifice, because I felt like I already was sacrificing.
And everyone else around you, it felt like wasn't sacrificing. And we're very creatures that like to be surrounded by people.
And they all had credit card debt too, and I didn't know that at the time.
But no one's talking about it. So you assume you're the one that's in the wrong. And so you're like, I'm just going to keep faking it so they don't think weird things about me.
Anna, it makes me think about the belief thing that you and I spent time talking about. If you're in this context, you don't know that everyone else has it too, or you do, but you kind of adopt a little bit of fatalism, and maybe other people have got their way out of the problem, but you're like, I don't think I could. If you don't believe that it's possible, I feel like that's a huge component of this.
Yes.
There's no point in trying anything else.
Yeah. And for me, when we first started our journey in 2016, I didn't believe it was possible either, but we took some drastic steps just to try. And honestly, in those first few months,
you tried despite a lack of belief.
Yes, I don't think I needed. This was my husband actually that really bought into this plan, and he's like, "Okay, we're gonna get a budget. He said, I'm gonna get a second job," and I was like, well, let's fake it till we make it. So here we are. We're going to try to do some action steps, and I'm along for the ride knowing how my brain works. And he's very much, I'm going to go out and get a second job. He wants to go like physically take action. Sure. And so I was like, let's just try it.
Such a dude.
Yeah. But it wasn't until the first 3-4 months of me actually tracking our debt balance going down and seeing how much extra we were chipping away physically that I started to believe it, but that belief is what changed it in my brain going forward and helped me stick on for the additional 2.5 years it took for us to get through the debt part of our journey. Because I don't know how else you can hang on for 2.5 years and be patient enough to believe you're going to come out the other side.
Action absorbs anxiety, right?
Yes.
Like, I think that's Dan Harris.
That's a good one.
Like just taking action helps your mind, even if it's a long road, even if you still have many more years of paying it off, like just seeing the little chip away every single time.
It helped my brain believe, which helped my attitude and how when we had to make the tough decisions, we can't go out to dinner for that birthday, or we can't meet family over at this amusement park. Saying no became easier. It still sucked. But it came easier when you believed that we were on a journey that was actually going to happen.
Well, and it looks different for different people, right? You were saying you needed your spreadsheet, you needed to be able to see it. Dan needed to like physically take action and go get a job. So,
such a dude.
Yeah. So I think that's also the thing. Like we have all these ideas we're presenting, we're talking about, but just know that it looks different from person to person. And also I feel like I've learned just as I get older, there's always someone that's worse off. I mean, that
just go
bad,
find
but
them.
like You can have such a victim mentality and feel so sorry for yourself. And I've lived a couple of things where I have gone down that path and been so sad, and all the things realizing, but it's not that bad. Like, it's all what I make it.
Yeah.
Control what I can control and figure out what it looks like for me to actually believe it enough to take action and make change.
Yeah.
So real quick, I get off money. Totally.
Yeah.
So I intentionally put those on the board because I knew that where this meeting would land is that people would have a little more clarity on where they want to be. And some of them would look at it and go, wait, with these numbers, because we broke it down to monthly savings, right? I can do this. That was your reaction, Abbie.
Yep.
Others would look at this and go, wow, I'm in a not great spot. I mean, I don't have as much of a time horizon because it's all about time value of money here and how much time you have. So I put these up because I know that at the end of the day, whether it's pretty or ugly, we've got to get to a place where we understand no one's going to solve it but us. Whether it's our fault or not doesn't matter. And ultimately it's going to come down to sacrifice and choosing one of two paths. Like we can either have our cake now or we can have it later. We can't have both. Like you can decide which, you either prioritize future you or you prioritize current you. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I think of how powerful this is for everything non-financial. So what I'm curious about is have you thought it all, or how do you see this applying more generally to everything in your lives?
I already see it showing up a lot. I'm trying to think of a specific example, but even just in Jake and I's conversations about life things as things happen, or I mean, he literally said to me this morning, "You got to focus on what you can control." It's like, okay, I taught you that, but I'm glad he's internal. Like that has become such a filter for us on anything difficult or challenging or unexpected that comes up, and all of these things just. And I'm just really struggling to think of something specific here, but just any life things that we've encountered in the last couple of years, this thinking of it's up to us, we're in charge of this, there are certain things that we just can't stress about, has shown up like every single time. Doesn't mean we're going to figure it out perfectly, but it's just, I can feel the difference between the way I would have handled something now versus the way I would have handled something 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. And it just, that doesn't, it makes some things easier, some things not, obviously, just depending on what it is. But I just feel like I'm handling challenges better. Yeah.
It's not going to make everything feel better, but it's going to produce better outcomes.
Yeah.
It actually, it's you can either, some of this is actually feeling worse up front so that you can feel better later.
Some stuff just sucks. It just is what your car breaks down. It just is what it, like, but
I'm starting to use it a little bit in parenting too, my kids, and just trying to install some of these.
No one's coming to save you.
Although I will carry you to the car.
Maybe not so much that, but like take responsibility for your current position. Like we had this conversation, you made these choices. Now you are where you are because of those choices. I also just wrote some notes of like very practical work, right? Employee conversations. I feel like the first one relates a lot to empowerment. We talked about that. Like, if it is to be, it's up to me. So go make it so. Here's all that you need. Number 2 for me is a little bit about, well, no defense budget. Like take responsibility for your actions and don't waste a lot of energy on the negative or the why or the blaming. Like
it will still pop in your head right away. But now my that's my first initial thought. And my second thought is, but ownership would look like this, this, and this.
Exactly.
Shoot, I guess I'll do that instead.
Exactly. Yeah, and then the last one I actually kind of wrote becoming, right? So that's we must sacrifice who we are today to be who we want to be. And so that's how those 3 relate to me, I feel like, in my conversations with employees.
It's fun to hear you guys talk about how you're thinking of these as it relates to areas of life that you're in. Because for me, I've been on a journey after we did the debt journey as a family. I'm on a health journey. This applies in my health world, especially because I'm saying no to a lot of things. And a lot of my coworkers, when I'm bringing my chicken to our meals out and my tuna, are looking at me like, what the heck? But to me, I'm willing to make that sacrifice because I want something different in the future for me. And so I know that I have to be willing to make those sacrifices along the way. And honestly, even my health journey started with, I have to realize no one's coming to save me. I'm not some rich rich movie star that can have a personal chef and a trainer and a coach and all these things. Like, I have to decide that this is me. I got to take responsibility, and then I got to be willing to make the sacrifices. And so my sacrifices, depending on where I'm at and the time of year, sometimes look like weird food, stinky food. Sometimes it means I'm getting up at 4 a.m. and working out, but those are sacrifices for me that are leading to an outcome for future me.
I just want to say thanks for keeping the stinky food in your office most times.
No problem.
Bringing it to our meetings.
I do my best.
You've been helpful. Yeah.
Well, I'm starting to think about sacrifice too for the human that I'm growing. Like when I saw this chart of like teaching your kids to start saving early and the automatic millionaire, like if you started at 15, 19, et cetera. I'm like, okay, as soon as she has a social security number, we're opening a 530A for her. And we'll get, you might know that as a Trump account. 530A. But get the seed money started. And so the sacrifice there is, okay, how much would we need to contribute in addition to this retirement to like just start this process for her while teaching her the other stuff. Yeah. But I mean, why would I not? Yeah. Now that I know this, why would I not?
I have thoughts on that we can talk about off air. Okay. I think it's great that you're thinking that way. Also, you need to continue putting your life mask on. Your oxygen mask. You've got financial goals you need to establish. Your unborn child has so much time. And so I'm more interested that when they're 12 and they get an allowance, they save their allowance. But you putting money away for your children when they're 0, although that's beautiful and wonderful.
Robs them.
Number one, robs them because I want them to have the agency of having built that account. Number two, they've got so much darn time that they don't need you to be putting your money into an account for them now. You need to be doubling down on yours. So this might sound like counterintuitive advice. Take advantage of the free money. If Trump's going to give you free money, take it. Yep. But I would say that, and maybe we're into way too deep, but I think saving a bunch of money for your children can actually be a counterproductive
undermines
thing.
What you're trying to do.
My kids have massive investment accounts. Every dollar in those accounts, they earned, they saved, they put in there, and I helped them learn how to manage. You couldn't do that when they were 3. It didn't start till they were earning allowances.
And old enough to, yeah.
So remember that the goal isn't for people to have money. This is the same in poverty alleviation in Africa. You learn that the rich think that poverty is a lack of money. The poor think that poverty is a lack of dignity and opportunity and hope. And agency. And so what you want to teach your kids is agency. What you don't want to do is give them money. So that's my little words of wisdom on kids. But for what it's worth.
No, that's where we're at. Like I realized our kids, we've just taken their birthday money and we've done that. And now I, for the first time, tried to have a conversation with an 8-year-old about, hey, I showed them this. And he's like, Mom, what is that? And then he wanted to sell some football cards. And he said, hey, that conversation we had about like me putting some money away and like then I'm going to have 1.5 million. Is that what this is?
Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah, this is a good start.
That's really good.
We'll bring it back.
You can get specific later,
Okay, well, I gotta take us home. We covered a lot of ground here. I love what we're doing on the finance side with our team. We'll probably bring it up again every year or two. But in the meantime, come talk to us. The emperor has no clothes. You guys all heard the metaphor, and we'd love to be a part of this conversation with you to the extent that you're willing to be vulnerable. We are. To, I think, just internalizing these rules. We need to get them on the wall somewhere, frankly. But I think they're powerful, and they're not. I don't care how you write them; they're a mindset. There's an idea here. Agency is a good way to put it. What'd you call it? Master of your own domain. You get to be anything you want to be, guys. I really believe that we have more control over our futures than we think we do. We just have to, 1, know what we want to get, and 2, be willing to do the work. Pull the monster out from under the bed, look at it, slap it across the face, and decide to take action. Like you said, action's the antidote to all this anxiety. Part of the reason everyone's cowering is because no one's willing to look the monster in the face and start taking steps towards something better. And even if you don't get all the way there, maybe you don't get your billions of dollars, you're going to be better than if you just stayed under the stairs. And so final, very quick words of wisdom to close us out. Abbie, Vic.
We're all like,
I think-
not me.
I mean, I these three things, as you said, I want our staff to be able to see them every day. So, like, super practically speaking, I think I'm gonna connect with marketing and get them on the walls. But they're just really, really great principles. And as our staff know, we're always here to help. There's a reason why I looked at Dylan and said, you got to do this one. I don't think I can do it. And those are my insecurities. So as I'm offering up help, just know that I also have a lot of insecurities in this area. I have a lot of practical knowledge that I'm here to help, but I'm more so just here to go along the journey or go on the journey with you and be here for accountability and ask, now, did you do that we talked about? Or
You've checked in with me a couple times.
Yep. I have Abbie on my list, and so I appreciate the trust that takes. But if you need an accountability buddy, that's also kind of what I'm here for.
Okay.
Yeah. I think just if not then now, right? Like we have met, most of us did not start off on the right foot, or just didn't know, or made mistakes, or wallowed in shame for too long, and that's all great, and it happens, and when you know better, you can do better, right? And so just taking action once you know better, which
Plant
is
the oak tree now if you didn't do it yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where I am.
Yeah.
These 3 principles, I almost would like to have them on my desk. Like, I've got our core values for the company. I almost need this right next to it to be above it or something. But to keep it top of mind, because I think this order of thinking is very pertinent even on a day-to-day situation. Okay, no one's going to go fix this problem that we just encountered in this department. I must take responsibility for it, and I got to probably be willing to sacrifice making some, progress. So on a work level, which is what this podcast is being recorded in our setting, I'm just thinking of practical next steps of these. This plays out on a day-to-day situation basis as well.
So Vic's gonna get us new core values. These are not core values, but I do like the idea of
Like
having
principles
them
for
above.
life.
They're principles for life, not just work.
Well, thank you for all of your contributions to that meeting, because you all were involved in putting it together.
Yeah.
Thanks for your vulnerability and your willingness to help. I guess we're on a journey. We don't have the answers, but we're willing to jump in.
We're
with
willing
you.
to have the conversation.
Yeah. So cool. Appreciate you guys. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing.